Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new ranking video here on Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Newberg, and because today is October 1st, it's time to look back on the month of September 2020 and look at all the movies that I saw. I'm going to rank all of them for you right now. I saw 8 movies in the month of September. Before I start this review, the best way to support this channel is to hit that like button, comment down below. I probably haven't seen every movie that has come out in the month of September, so let me know some other movies and tell me your official ranking of your favorite September 2020 movies. Also, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button, ring that bell for notifications. If you like Netflix movie reviews, TV show reviews, streaming platform reviews, rankings like these, and live streams, best way to support the channel is also to ring that bell for notifications and subscribe. So before I start this ranking, I just want to let you guys know that I have already reviewed each one of these 8 movies on this list in depth. So if you don't feel like you get enough of my actual review of these movies, they are already up on my channel. I will leave it. I'll tell you what I'm going to leave for you next to my head at the end of the video. So let's get started with the ranking. As you can see already on my list is my number 8 movie of the month, easily the worst movie of the month in my opinion, the only below average movie in my opinion in the month of September, and that is Secret Society of Second Born Royals, which is the only Disney Plus original film that come out this past month. And I just thought it was basically the sky high for this new generation. I think the cast did a really, really good job for what they were given. Skylar Astin was a really good addition as well to this movie as well. The kids had a lot of great chemistry with each other, even though I felt Sam's character, played by Peyton Elizabeth, be a little bratty in the first act. She came on really late in the movie. But as I said, this movie has a lot of issues. It probably has one of the worst CGI work for a Disney movie that I've seen in a really, really long time. I mean, the CGI work is awful in the movie, and it just pulls you out of what the superheroes are doing. And because this movie spends so much time setting up what these kids can do, they don't really let you see what these kids' superpowers really are in the actual field. They just kind of stand there while Sam kind of does everything. So that was a bit disappointing as well. The villains also are terrible in this movie, especially the main one. Once you find out what the villain's motive is, it's really bad. They kind of keep showing him once every other scene, basically, in the first half of the movie. And I don't know why we keep seeing him. A very boring character and a very boring villain. I gave this movie a 2 out of 5 stars, so that's where this ranks on my list. I've heard a lot of people say that this is a pleasant surprise for Disney Plus. And again, I don't hate this movie. It's not one of the worst 10 movies of the year I've seen so far, but this movie is not that great, and it is a sky high for a new generation. But even Sky High has so much more into it. There's better superhero work in Sky High compared to this movie, and obviously it looks like we're going to get a sequel for this movie as well. Let's move into my number 7, and that was the first movie that I saw this month, and that was Love Guaranteed. So this came out, as you see on my screen, September 3rd. That's, if you haven't seen this movie, it stars Rachel Lee Cook and Damon Wayans. And it's from director Mark Steven Johnson, who directed Ghost Rider and Daredevil. So completely different place to direct here. So this movie, again, for me, was very, very average. It's probably one of the more forgettable movies that I've seen this year. When I was looking back on all the movies I saw in this month, I was kind of shocked that this movie happened this month. Obviously, September 3rd was really early in the month, but oof, this movie came by and left my memory really quickly. The things I can definitely remember from the movie is that Damon Wayans and Rachel Lee Cook are pretty much good together in the lead roles. They have really good chemistry together. But and I think Heather Graham steals all of her scenes that she is in. But as a whole, the movie is one of the most cliched rom-coms you'll probably get all year. But again, it doesn't really hurt anyone, this movie. It's one of the most predictable movies you'll see all year. Of course, someone needs to profess their love in a very public setting. So you've kind of seen this movie a billion times. It was also done because Lee Cook also produced the movie. So again, I really enjoyed the two of the characters when they're together, but there's a point in the movie where they kind of go on their own ways towards that second act, and the movie really, really slows down. The movie isn't really that funny. Really only Damon Wayans tries to be funny as well. Heather Graham's funny at times as well, but this movie's just an average movie. I gave it a 2.5, which is higher than a lot of people give it. it's a fine movie. It doesn't really hurt me. It's an average movie. It's another rom-com that Netflix that I'm forgetting about already. So now let's move in here to my number 6, for the month. And that was The Babysitter Killer Queen, which was the sequel to the 2017 Babysitter, which again, my reviews of all these on my channel. I really enjoyed the first Babysitter for what it was. Is it one of the best Netflix originals we've ever gotten? No, but it was a really pleasant surprise at the time. Netflix wasn't doing these movies every week like they were now at the time of the first movie. And obviously I love Samara Weaving in the first movie, so I really did enjoy the first movie for what it was. It knew exactly what it was. So I moved into the second movie, and the second movie for me is not as good as the first one, and that's not even close to my opinion. Judah Lewis he's kind of fine in this movie. He really isn't the best lead for this movie. The big surprise for me was that Jenna Ortega, who played Phoebe, she kind of stole the movie for me. The new addition to the cast, she was really, really great. And she had really good chemistry with Lewis. And they had the returning cast. I really laughed at Robbie Amell and King Batch and Bella Thorne were also really good. But for me, this movie had a lot more going on. The first Babysitter was a very focused movie, and it basically never really left Cole's house for most of the movie, or Cole's surrounding neighborhood. This movie, there's a lot more going on. We had to see Cole in high school with his friend Melanie. Then we moved into this party that spring break, whatever party thing that they go to. And then now they're actually bringing the parents into the mix. If you remember, so Ken Marino and Leslie Bibb and Chris Wilde are the parents of the movie. Chris Wilde is Melanie's mom, and dad, and Ken Marino and Leslie Bibb are Cole's parents. But for me, the first movie, the parents get one scene, and that's them leaving, which sets up the whole Babysitter movie, how Samara Weaving can take over that house. In this movie, they're really involved, and every time they pop on screen, it really pulls me out of the movie. And I do like Ken Marino, and I do like Leslie Bibb, but they don't feel necessary. The jokes that the dads keep getting high was not funny at all. This movie did go for a lot more kills, which I liked. The movie definitely wasn't as funny, in my opinion, or as fresh as the first movie. So overall, guys, The Babysitter, Killer Queen, I gave a 2.5 out of 5 stars. It's an average movie. I had a lot of problems with it. The movie does have a lot of redeeming qualities, in my opinion, but it does have so many issues. Not as funny as the first one, not as focused as the first one. There's way too much going on in this sequel, and it's possibly setting up another Babysitter movie. We shall see. So let's keep moving on this list to the most recent movie that I checked out, and that is The Boys in the Band. So we are now moving in here to this film. So I really thought this was a really good movie. This is now for the rest of my top 5 here are all 3.5 out of 5 stars or above. So this is a really good last 5 movies to this list. I really enjoyed The Boys in the Band. If you don't know this movie, the movie just came out yesterday on Netflix. And it's about 7 gay friends who are at this birthday party, and they play this game where you have to confess your love to someone you've been in love with your whole life. And it is in 1968, produced by Ryan Murphy. This is all a revival play that now they have turned into a movie with the same cast. I really did enjoy this movie. Jim Parsons is fantastic here. Easily, in my opinion, his strongest performance he's given so far. Matt Bomer is also really good. Zachary Quinto steals most of his scenes. Roman DeJesus is really good in this movie. Again, at times, in my opinion, it does feel like a play. And for me, and I said this in my review yesterday, that I thought the first act was really, really slow. Really, the first half of the movie is really, really slow. And at times I was like, for someone who didn't know what the movie was about, kind of thinking, where are we going with this movie? Why am I watching this? Why am I just watching conversation? And then when we get into that game, really when Zachary Quinto kind of joins the movie, that's when the movie really picks up. It gets really emotional towards the ending once you realize where all the characters end up. And and again, it's all in one location, but I thought it was done very, very well from the directorial point of view. The actors have so much great chemistry with each other, great performances. But again, I thought the first half of the movie was really boring and nothing really fascinated me until we moved into that second half of the movie. So again, I really, really enjoyed the movie. Great third act, a really, really good third act. But again, uh, there are some qualities of the movie that I just can't pass up and get through. Let's move into now my top 4 here in September. They have all are now in my top 10 of the year so far. So this is a really, really good September. So let's move into my number 4 movie of the month. And that was The Devil All the Time, which honestly for me has been the best cast of the year. As you can see, I'm seeing Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Bill Skarsgård, Riley Keough, Jason Clarke, Henry Melling, Eliza Scanlon. There's so many people. Haley Bennett. There's so many people in this movie. And Sebastian Stan. So I really, really enjoyed this movie. The more I thought about it, the more I watched people break down this film, the more I really, really thought about it and really have enjoyed it more. It was kind of not in my top 10. And then I really pushed it in there because I thought it had a lot of really great redeeming qualities. Now, this movie is very bleak, and at times for me, too bleak. And there's also points where not all the storylines feel necessary, and they don't really wrap up well into the story. But these performances are so great in this movie. Tom Holland proves why he's not just Peter Parker in this movie. A great dramatic performance. Can't wait to see more of him. Pattinson probably delivers the best performance in the movie. Like, you can tell he's the strongest actor of everyone in the movie. He's so good as this evil preacher. You're never rooting for Pattinson, but he does this really great accent. It's really, really great. Bill Skarsgård carries the first 40 to 45 minutes of the movie. I was kind of shocked we don't get Tom Holland until literally the 45 to 50-minute mark of the film. So Bill Skarsgård does carry the first act, and he's really, really great. I felt the most tense, most nervous, most emotional when his character was on screen. A really powerful performance from Bill Skarsgård. Everyone's really good. Riley Keough is also fantastic in the movie. And the story is really, really fascinating. It's a very, the fact that all these stories combine at one point are really, really great, based off a book. But as I said, not all the storylines do come quite together as I wanted to. Sebastian Stan's storyline I really wasn't into at all, even though I'm a big fan of Sebastian Stan, not just because of Winter Soldier, but outside of Winter Soldier, I think he's a really great actor. But he was kind of in the background. I didn't really care what he was doing. Henry Melling, he kind of came and went in this movie, not a enthralling character. These are easily the 3 strongest characters of the whole movie. And again, I do think it also is a bit too long. It's well over the 2-hour mark, so I think it could have been cut literally 10 to 15 minutes off the screen time. But as I said, a really great cast, easily the cast of the year, a fascinating story, and one of the best movies I've seen on Netflix this year. Let's move into my number 3 movie of the month, and that was Nola Holmes, which, again, another great cast: Millie Bobby Brown, Henry Cavill, Sam Claflin, Helena Bonham Carter. So I really did enjoy this movie as well. Really, one of the most fun watches I've had on Netflix all year. Millie Bobby Brown proved that she's more than just 11. She's really been stuck in Stranger Things for 3 seasons. And again, it's my favorite show, but she hasn't moved out of that. She did Godzilla, and that wasn't really her fault. The script was terrible. She didn't really get a lot of screen time. And then you go in, and then you haven't really seen her in anything else but those 2 things. So seeing her in a lead role is great to see because she has so much energy. She's so charming. You're always rooting for her character to do well in this movie. And you're never thinking like, wow, Sherlock needs to help Enola out at all. He doesn't, and that's why she's great. You always hope Enola solves the mystery, not Sherlock, which is what the movie nails. But Sherlock is really great in here. Henry Cavill, perfect casting. He's a really great Sherlock, but really his strongest part is his relationship with his younger sister, Enola, played by Millie Bobby Brown. Their relationship, the way that she makes him grow as a character throughout the movie, is really, really brilliant, and it sets up a nice relationship with them in a possible sequel. Sam Claflin also as probably the most hated guy in the whole movie as Mycroft Holmes. He feels really evil. He's got the evil mustache. He's got the hat on. What a character. He just wants Enola to be the stereotypical female at the time. He's a really great actor, and I think he does a really good job here. And Bonham Carter, of course, also delivers Enola's mom. Again, a really fun ride. This movie was 2 hours and 3 minutes, and it flew right by, in my opinion. But there are some issues with the movie. The plot, you think the movie's really about her finding her mom, and then once the Louis Partridge character comes along, that subplot takes up the rest of the movie. So at times the movie does feel rushed finishing up Nola finding her mother storyline that felt very rushed towards the third act. And there were other characters that felt very unnecessary in the movie. And again, the plot doesn't move as I kind of wanted it to go. There's some good twists and turns, but you kind of know where everything, for the most part, is going. And it does set up a sequel, which is something that Netflix is doing a lot now. I would love to see this cast come back, but I think a stronger plot would be necessary to make this better than the first one. So my top 2 of the month, ladies and gentlemen, and moving into number 2 is the only HBO Max original film that came out this month, and that was Unpregnant. I really, 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 really like this movie. Barbie Ferrara and Haley Lou Richardson deliver stellar performances. Is one of the 2 best female performances, really Haley Lou Richardson, and also Barbie Ferrara as well, 2 of the best female or just really performances of the year. They're both brilliant in the movie. And for me as a guy, this was a very educational movie for how women have to go about having an abortion. The fact that Haley Richardson's character travels thousands and thousands of miles just to go to a clinic where she can go in by herself and get the abortion done. It's amazing that this movie mixes comedy really, really well. The movie's really, really funny. And then it mixes in its drama really well, because while it's funny that these 2 former friends are going on this road trip, there's also the realization of she's having an abortion. Why does she have to go all the way across basically America to get this abortion? And it's a really educational thing for guys and everyone in general to learn about this, what women really have to go through. And it's a really, really great watch. Easily the best HBO Max film that we've gotten so far, that and American Pickle. I really prefer this over an American Pickle. I do have a couple issues with the movie. For me, there's one big subplot with Breckin Meyer's character that's like a 20-minute long subplot, and it felt like a cartoon, like it really pulled me out of the movie. And once that subplot was over, we came back to form, in my opinion. That really 20-minute period felt so unnecessary and really could have been pulled out of this movie. And at times, they mix the drama and the comedy, not the greatest, but as a whole, I really, really love this movie. It's a 4 out of 5 stars for me. I really did enjoy Unpregnant. And easily coming in at number 1 for me in the month, it's also a 4 out of 5 star one for me. And that is I'm Thinking of Ending Things, the Charlie Kaufman movie with Jessie Buckley, Jesse Plemons, Toni Collette, and David Thewlis. This movie rocked me a lot. And when I kept learning more about what this movie truly is and thinking about it, I like this movie even more. Now, I don't love this movie, but I really do enjoy the movie. The performances, again, are great. Buckley and Plemons, by the way, a whole other level. Their chemistry is really, really great. Plemons, for me, I'm a huge fan of his. First time seeing Buckley on screen. Toni Collette and Thewlis come in the middle of the movie, and they're also really great. Toni Collette steals her scene. She's really great. And the movie has so many great twists and turns that you're not really expecting. Or is this a real world? Is this all in Plemons' head? You really don't know throughout this entire movie. Why is Jessie Buckley's characters changing names throughout the movie? Who really knows? But this movie is one of the movies, really the only movie in 2020, in my opinion, that has made me really think about the movie. And I saw this movie 3-4 weeks ago now. And I really, really keep thinking about this movie, wanted to talk to people about this movie. Because there's so much going on that I really enjoyed. Now, again, for me, one of my issues with the movie is that it's very slow. Most of the movie is just a car ride, two car rides between Plemons and Buckley. That's kind of most of the movie. And at times, some of the conversations are quite boring, in my opinion. But overall, a really, really good movie, and easily the best movie I think I saw in the month of September. Once again, guys, before I leave you here on this YouTube video, best way to support this channel is to hit that like button, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and comment down below your favorite movies in the month of September in 2020, a terrible year for us all. I'm about to head into October. It's going to be a very busy couple of weeks, this week really. Tomorrow, I'll be coming out with a lot of reviews, my non-spoiler review and spoiler review of Season 1 of HBO Max's Raised by Wolves. I'll be coming out with my review of the new Netflix movie that comes out tomorrow. Then Saturday, I'll give you my live stream. Me and Joe will talk about Star Wars Heroes from 11 a.m. to noon Pacific time on Saturday. Then also on Saturday, I'll be doing my non-spoiler review for Ted Lasso. the Apple TV Plus show. And then on Monday, my spoiler review of Lovecraft Country episode 8. So a really busy couple of days coming up. So the best way to know when my videos drop is to ring that bell for notifications. If new to the channel, popping up next to my head should be reviews for Netflix movies, my Unpregnant review, and Disney Plus films, Disney Plus, Netflix, and my Unpregnant review should be coming up right next to my head. And thank you so much for joining me on this ride.